Nagy. Hi, Kathleen. So we decided to get together for Sound Healing Day because we both do different things, actually the same and different things with sound. And Kathleen's going to talk in a little bit. But World Sound Healing Day, let me see if I can put this up. It's going on all day today, I believe. And there's different events online, so you can check out worldsoundhealingday.org. You can join into different events. There's some online, there's some in different places around the world, just talking about sound. And really, it's the future. The future of has been and is the future of healing. I'm actually really excited about health for the future. If we can talk more about this all the time, both in what we're talking about today and something that Kathleen and I both do, which is bioacoustics from the work of Sherry Edwards. And with that, you can take your own, with a 30-second voice print, you can take basically your voice is your biofeedback, and Kathleen will talk about a simpler way to do this because all of it is right here. We have the technology within ourselves to do all this, but we've found a way, a positive way for technology to help us and tell us what's going on. And I have learned so much from bioacoustics just looking at the voice prints and the reports and the analysis. And we are just a huge bunch of frequencies just mashing in with each other, somehow creating the bodies that we have. And if we're on this earth, we're just constantly kind of out of balance and we're trying to just all stay there. So it's really interesting the way that bioacoustics shows the way we look at frequencies, because you can take a voice print, look at our frequency graph, you can look at what's going on. Sherry's done an amazing amount of work in the reports that you can get, almost too overwhelming sometimes for a lot of people. But it's an amazing amount of information. You can look at it kind of in a broad spectrum. You can look at it in a very structured kind of setting. And then you can actually take the frequencies and program them into a tone box and listen to your own personalized frequencies. And I know there's other things out there that do the same thing. I think Sherry's is unique in a different way that we won't talk about today. But that's one way you can use sound and your own biofeedback through technology, that we have actual, physical technology, listening through headphones, and creating that. She's also done a lot of work on what's been happening the past couple of years and our health and how it's affecting us. So that's a conversation for another time in particular. But it's an amazing body of work that she has done, trying to put that into technology so that everybody can access that information if they want to. Now, Kathleen does something really unique as well. I think it's amazing. And your website, Kathleen, so we can say it right up front, is The Sound Lady, right?
TheSoundLady.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about today, how you came about it. I know you are versed in sound and music, and I see the wonderful piano behind you. So I'm not. So I was in band, in high school, and I did all that. Played clarinet, play a little bit of guitar, which I dropped a long time ago. But so I have that much balance, and of course, sound we listen to all day, assuming we have somewhat of hearing, and it bombards us all the time. And there's certainly different ways that we can use this. But you've actually studied sound and music and notes, and then we're going to get into kind of chakras and different notes in terms of how you can use sound in your own body technology without using other technology and software programs. We have it right here. And from Kathleen, I have learned to hum in the shower. So best place to hum. It's got all the reverberation.
Good acoustics in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's Kathleen's book, Humming for Health. And tell us how you came about all that.
Well, I'd been a bioacoustic practitioner for years and years, and I was seeing a pattern that was starting to become obvious to me, where I worked specifically with people with like sore muscles and sports injuries, and because I liked, the fact that you could listen to a frequency and you could take a muscle out of spasm by listening to a sound. You could strengthen a muscle by listening to a sound. As a matter of fact, Sherry was asked by the Department of Defense, or by NASA, to create a program for the astronauts when they
Oh,
go into space, because their muscles will tend to atrophy because they're not using them. So she created a program that ran through all the muscles of the body for NASA that the astronauts could listen to, while they're in space. So I liked doing that with bioacoustics, helping people kind of fix structural issues. But I found that occasionally, sometimes we'd fix something with a person, and then 6 months later, they'd come back and we had to fix it again. And then, a few months later, they'd come back and we'd had to fix it again. Something would keep triggering, the injury. And what I came to understand was Sherry's bioacoustics is incredible for physical stuff, biochemicals and amino acids and enzymes and hormones and all matter,
mhm.
the matter of the body. There's frequencies, for all the matter of the body. But when an injury that is manifested in our bodies is manifesting, and it started first like on an emotional plane, you can fix it physically for a while, but the emotion will trigger it to happen again. So you can't fix something that's manifested on the physical plane that started in the emotional plane. So I started, and I also thought, bioacoustics was fabulous, but the equipment is pretty expensive, and a lot of people won't be able to access it because of the cost.
Mhm.
But also, some days, there might not be electricity. There might not be a Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
And then what do we do with all of this learning that we have? So I went into how do we heal ourselves with our own voices,
Mhm.
in a way that you don't have to have any technology. And so Humming for Health, my book Humming for Health, and the subtitle is Sound Tools for Physical and Emotional Balance. So I talk about how we use the sound of the voice. Like I learned in bioacoustics, the brain is listening to the sound of the voice all day long. And the frequencies from the voice that are coming up from the vagus nerve, from the bottom of the body, all the way up and intertwines with the vocal cords, goes right straight up to the brain. And all that information about the body comes out your voice first, and it goes up to the brain. So the brain is hearing, there's this voice ear brain connection that's biofeedback information to the brain. And so how could we take that system that already exists, but unconsciously? We're not aware that the sound of our voice is telling the brain that, oh, we need calcium. But when we look at our voice prints, we can see the frequency for calcium is a low energy frequency.
Mhm.
So I thought, let's take that system and just use it consciously with the sound of our voice and humming. And humming is very, very, very powerful. And people will say, oh, it's just too simple. It couldn't possibly work, right? It's too easy. How could something as simple as that? We're taking, a system that already exists in the body. Body's got all kind of feedback loops in it, so that all parts of it know what all the other parts of it are doing at all time. And the sound of the voice is one of them. So humming has all kinds of benefits. So we have a slide, right, Cathy, with
Mhm.
some health benefits
Yep.
of humming. Humming, here we go, releases endorphins that promote well-being and enhanced immune support. Humming, also the deep breathing that is required for humming, it will reduce your heart rate and your blood pressure, proven scientifically. Also, increases nitric oxide. Um,
That's a
in the
biggie
cells.
these days,
Right. I'm going to go into that, in depth in a minute.
right?
Uh, Raises cellular oxygen levels to increase lymphatic drainage, and the body's that should be trash removal. That's my typo. And it stimulates the pineal gland to release melatonin levels and relieve insomnia. And it does, you can do so much more than that with the voice. But let's talk a little bit about nitric oxide because Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule. It was discovered in the early 90s and actually won the Nobel Prize in 1992 for Molecule of the Year. Who knew they had Molecule of the Year prizes? But it did, and because scientists realized that it could signal about your heart health. It tells you how dilated your blood vessels are. And so it's a signaling molecule. It's a part of a lot of different processes. But what it also does is it create when you hum, nitric oxide is created in your sinuses and nasal passages. And I've put into the chat here, I don't know if you can see the chat, but there are two links to studies. So I'm not just talking woo-woo here. The Stanford News in 2020 talked about the novel coronavirus infects upper airway cells. So that's where it comes in first, right? But it's inhaled. And then there's another study on PubMed and NIH. And the title of it is how high nitric oxide production in human paranasal sinuses. So how as you hum, you can create high nitric oxide in the paranasal, sinuses.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also, let's see, I have another one here. I think that I forgot to put up there. Nope, I can't. I thought I did.
Yeah, I'm going to put the all the links that you have, Kathleen. I'm going to make sure they're up in the YouTube replay underneath in the notes on YouTube. Once we show,
I know. So there was a slide. Okay, so here's another one from NIH. Nitric oxide. This is the title of the study. Nitric oxide inhibits the replication cycle of severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. So nitric oxide, they were getting really interested in how nitric oxide could help, flus and the coronaviruses. And these studies were done back in the 90s when the first, coronaviruses and SARS, were being studied.
Mm-hmm.
But so with nitric oxide in the sinuses will stop, inhibit the replication of coronavirus. Simple humming instantly increases nitric oxide concentration in the nasal passages and sinuses. These are the tissues where coronavirus lingers for many days before infecting other tissues. And this is a study by Weitzberg and Lundberg. It says humming greatly increases nasal nitric oxide from the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine. So there were studies done on nitric oxide back in the early 90s, in the early part of this century. But no one's talking about them. I don't know if I should take the cynical approach and say, well, just you can't make any money on teaching people how to hum, and that's why they're not teaching us how to do that. But they're not teaching us how to support our immune system either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right,
we
exactly.
went a whole year without having any vaccines, but was anyone saying, in 6 months' time, you could really increase your immune system so you can fight these things off?
Mm-hmm.
No. We were just sitting around waiting for the vaccines, and there were other things we could do, like hum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's amazing. I went through a little period not too long ago, and my heart was racing. I was doing my bioacoustic readings every day, and so I knew from the nutrition program what I needed to stay nourished, and luckily I had everything I needed. Either in the tone box or in my, in my cupboard, in my superfood shelves, everything. I just stayed really nourished. I did the breathing. I hummed. I listened to my tone box, and it was a little scary. But once you have all those, from my perspective, miracles happen when everything's aligned. And if you have the nutrition, if you have the frequencies working together, which they want to do automatically, we just have to give them either the push or the little extra tone that it might be missing or out of whack to come together to do that. So it was an amazing process that I went through, but I realized how powerful the frequencies and humming and your voice was, because I needed to get through it, and I was bound and determined to get through it myself. That's not saying to anybody, don't go to somebody if you need to, but my choice was to work through that and use my tools and my own biofeedback through the different tools that I have to use to get through that. And it was amazing.
And you got through it. I remember, so when you called and your heart was racing, and I had you start to hum your heart chakra note and then to sigh down to your root chakra note. Just, it just moved the energy down. Your heart was so overactive.
Yeah.
We needed to distribute it, the energy through the rest of the systems of the body. And so we just used the voice, because one of the things that I teach people, along with knowing what notes are good for you and for your body, everybody has their own musical key.
Which I find amazing. So yeah, well, don't forget to talk more about that, because I thought everybody knows about chakras and the colors of chakras and everything and the tones that maybe they're supposed to have in general, but nobody talks about we have our own tones of our own chakras, right?
Yes. Our chakra scale, or our health system scale, is defined by the range of our voice, our vocal spectrum. So the lowest note that you can comfortably hum without straining your voice is going to vibrate your root chakra. And then from there, once we discover what that note is, and you can do this, in sessions with me on thesoundlady.com, with Zoom sessions or private sessions. Once you know what the root chakra note is, then I can tell you what the other notes are. I've studied musical scales. I've studied music theory and music harmony, and it's in my head for, decades. I have all of this information. And so I look at the chakra scales not like a yogi, not like a meditation master. I come at it from the perspective of a sound master. Someone who knows music and sound and theory and harmony. And I see the whole chakra system as frequency and as a harmonic system where I know what notes work with other notes. I know how to activate one note with another note. So how do you really activate one chakra with another chakra? And it's all just the music theory and harmonic and theory of harmonics, but physics of sound. But when you know your own chakra scale, you can use your voice to move energy through your body. And that's not something that most people are used to doing.
No, exactly. We have the information. The frequencies are information. And I can look at energy as what are you taking in? What are you maintaining? And what are you flowing through? So, and we talk about, and we always have information. You can go to YouTube, you can listen to a bunch of different tones and frequencies and songs, and you're adding information. But what of that is reaching you, and what of that is flowing through in order to, come all together?
Yeah. And when you, let's just do a little humming here for the sinuses, because this is something that everyone can do. I can teach folks how to do this. If you just take your fingers and very lightly put them on these lower sinuses here with your little finger, like near your nose, and then you just, like in your speaking range, that's the note I'm kind of using. In my speaking range, I'm going to start to hum up the scale very, very slowly, and I will start to feel, when I get to the right notes, I'll start to feel my sinuses vibrating. So you do it something like this. So you just say your name, like Kathleen, I'm feeling it on that note, but that's my voice. You may have to go a little bit higher, but you'll feel it. You can feel it. Your sinus is vibrating, and then you just hum that note. for a good 5 minutes, or hum around that note. Sometimes I'll hum scales. Sometimes I'll just do Mary Had a Little Lamb, or, a children's song, London Bridge is Falling Down, in that range, in that vocal range. And I can feel the vibrations, and I can then feel the sinuses start to drip, start to drain. So you can, if you have clogged sinuses, find the right notes. You can hum 5-10 minutes a day and make a huge difference in the
Wow.
clog in your head.
But yeah, I know a lot of people who message me about, I'm having sinus issues, and what do I do about it? So this is super simple.
It's simple. It's
Yeah.
free.
Mm-hmm.
It's legal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all of those things. And I mean, there's so many ways to increase your frequency just by using the sound of your voice. Also, I mean, I'm a French horn player. I played in symphony orchestras for 20 years. And so I can buzz. So I buzz sounds and I hum sounds at the same time. And that just gets my whole brain vibrating in this synovial fluid that's vibrating. Let me see if I can give an example of the humming and buzzing. Sometimes the microphone can't handle it, but so you can create. Oh, it feels so good. So there, or you could use a pitch pipe. You can blow into a pitch pipe if you can't match notes. But humming is something that we do for ourselves. Humming is self-soothing. We don't hum for anyone else. We might hum for an infant, that we're, cradling. But for the most part, humming is a way that our body calms itself. Humming activates the parasympathetic nervous system.
Mm-hmm. My mother hummed all the time, especially in the final years, and she wasn't doing very well. And I thought, how can your body even be moving and being alive? And I saw that the humming must have kept her that way. She would hum all the time. And we sing. I mean, we sing in the car, but I don't think humming is something, like you said, we might do it to a baby, or we might, sing when we're alone in the car and wail away or something. But humming isn't something. It's something that I think we used to do and stopped doing, or aren't encouraged to do, or because it's easier than kind of singing. You hum. So
Yes, and humming also doesn't have all of that judgment
right.
that goes along with singing. Like
Mm-hmm.
so many people are told that we don't a very nice sounding voice,
Right. Yeah.
or you're singing in chorus in elementary school, and the choral director says, just hum the words, honey. Just mouth the words. Don't make any sound, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not singing the right notes.
Right.
Instead of teaching you how to sing the right notes, they make you feel terrible about the sound of your voice, and then you don't feel like you have a way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, working with the sound of your voice and your body's musical scale, where it really brings your voice back online in a way that you can discover your self power, your self esteem, which then increases your self love, which increases your health, which increases your joy, which increases your success. There's this whole cascade of things, of emotions that happen once you start to take command of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And humming is a really good way to begin to do that, because it's something you just do quietly for yourself, and then notice that you feel better afterwards.
Yeah. You can see the picture I found. Kathleen was here at our lodge, the Lake Clear Lodge. I own my family and I own the Lake Clear Lodge. And by the way, we're hoping to announce a date for Kathleen to come and do a retreat. This is Kathleen actually playing her French horn in the lake. So, and what came over there was like the lake is usually always like no activity. And you were out there. All of a sudden, all these boats started going by, and I think the loons or the ducks or something started going by.
Yeah, everybody came to see what's going on. What's that sound? Well, no one doesn't like the sound of the French horn. I've never met anyone who said, "Oh, I don't like that sound." And sound carries over water, so this lake was just closed. It was just the sound waves were going all over the lake, and people were for miles. Really,
Yeah.
that the sound really carries.
Yeah.
So,
And I see that our chat is working here a little bit in the Be Live platform. I'm not in the YouTube platform to see the chat there, but we've got some folks on somebody saying juicing raw beets is amazing for nitric oxide.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and hello, Lynn and Pat, both friends of mine. Lynn says, great interview, learning a lot. And Pat says hello. And yeah, so we got some chats in here talking about different things. Someone talking about their blood pressure in the chat there.
Yeah, just humming, and just a simple practice of taking a deep breath and trying to sustain a sound for like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, 3, 4, 5 times, you're slowing down your breathing. You're getting out of fight or flight syndrome. You're going into the parasympathetic nervous system where everything just starts to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it for ourselves if we think of it, but we don't even think of it. I mean, and even when I had COVID for the last month, and I forgot to do the things I would have told my people to do.
I know, I realized that when I was, when my heart was racing, it's like you forget to do the things that you know how to do. And I actually created a program that was, how to, I forget the title of it. It was a little while ago, but we wrote down everything. And I found these little note cards that are, they're little colored note cards you can buy like in any, little drugstore or anything. And they have a little hook on them. And you just start writing down all the tools that you have. Because I bet you everybody listening today has tons of tools. And you get kind of down when you forget the tools that you have, the super simple ones, even like humming or you almost have to go, wait a minute, where's my toolbox? You literally need a toolbox to say, this is what I have. Oh yeah, I can do that. Because when you're not feeling good, you don't feel like going there to do that. So we all need each other to kind of give ourselves reminders. And, I was doing that. I reached out to you and,
And you helped me with my energy level, reminding me I should be taking NAD and NAC, which I started taking, and wow.
Yeah.
Got
Mm-hmm.
better a lot faster.
Yeah, Lynn said I just did that and felt low ranges. Now I can feel beginnings of postnasal drip and wasn't even congested. So
you thought you were congested.
Yep. And Pat has a good point. Humming is akin to doing ohms and ohms, it would seem.
Ohms. Yes. Well, the ohm is a way of sustaining a sound, but when you close M, you bring the sound back inside of you. And humming, the reason I use the voice in humming is with the lips closed and the sound inside of you, you can feel the vibrations. You can feel a low note in a low part of your body, and you can pull energy right up your spine with your voice.
So in a way, like you said, with your mouth closed, you're not letting it out. You're keeping it kind of in, so it works.
Right. And here's an even better. I found, because I'm always playing with sound. I'm a sound person, so I tell people I use my eyes to kind of keep me from bumping into things, but I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to details. But with my ears, I'm hearing all kinds of things. So listen to this. If you hum with your ears plugged, just close your little flaps over your ears, and then hear. Now you've got this, because the sound is also coming out your ears. Right. But if you close the sound coming, because it's going out you station tubes and coming out your ears, that way. So, I mean, you can't hum when your nose is plugged, but you can plug your ears and hum, and then you can really amplify the sound inside of your body.
And it's interesting that we focus a lot of our health. We go, oh, I don't feel good. And we look at the rest of our body from the neck down. And we don't think about all the technology that's right here that you're talking about, that we have right in our ears and our nose and our head, and all the feedback that can happen, within our head, versus we always kind of focus on the rest of the body.
I was watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, lately, and he explains, like, when you're in fight or flight, before you've turned on the parasympathetic nervous system, your brain is not firing in sequence. It's like when you're in fight or flight, you're really not making good decisions. Your fight or flight is about focus on what it is that is about to kill you, right? And so fight or flight gives you a very narrow focus. and your brain can't really function real well and remember, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that.
Yeah.
But if you start to hum, you can get out of fight or flight. Your brain can get back in sync, and then you can start to think more clearly too.
Yeah, I was just working with someone, and they were definitely in fight or flight, and just gave them some tones. They said, "Oh, okay, I still have that a little bit, but now I'm thinking clearly, and I can understand what I can do next." So
Exactly.
yeah.
Good. That's a great example. Yeah, because our wires get crossed,
Yeah.
and it just that a deep breath and a sustained sound will slow down your heart, create coherence between your heart and your brain, and then you start to think more clearly.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, people are chatting in the comments, so that's great. So so I'll just go back here. Let me just add in that for right now, and then you can think about any other additions you want to speak about, Kathleen. I and my family own the Lake Clear Lodge, and it's lakeclearlodge.com. I'm just going to put the crawler up just a little bit while we continue to chat a little bit. We have a beautiful spot that I came back to keep, really. I'm kind of the keeper of this place in a way. It's said to have a beautiful energy portal over the lake. You can look over the lake at lakeclearlodge.com. /webcam. I think I need to fix that. It's lakeclearlodge.com /webcam. And lakeclearlodge.com /events has the, let me fix that, has the retreats that we're going to be doing this year so far. Kathleen will be adding one. Hopefully we'll have a date for Humming for Health. Where there's a lot of different kind of retreats, nutritional energetics, my work, block therapy, which, if you don't know, it's working with fascia. So a lot of different things going on at the lodge this year in terms of retreats and events. We'll have some online component. Of course, it's always nice to come nurture in nature itself. It's beautiful here. We have 25 acres. I showed a picture of a little bit of the lake with Kathleen having her French horn in the lake when she was here and visiting. So, we're hoping people can actually come and meet us, nurture in nature. Even if you just come for a vacation, just nurture in nature, out in the woods, listen to the sounds, listen to the birds, hum while you're on the trails or in the lake.
Great. Well, what I'm hoping is to do a kind of a grounding weekend, right? So yes, maybe we teach people what their body's sounds are before they even get there. We do Zoom sessions before they even come, so they already know what their scale is, and they have an MP3 that they can hum along to. So that's the first part of it. But grounding, get ourselves earthed.
Yeah.
We need to reconnect. And that is such a fabulous place that you have there, walking on the trails in the woods and near the lake. It's just so good for our bodies. And to be humming your root chakra note while you're doing a meditation with your feet, walking on the earth, is just a wonderful way to forget all the troubles, and just let the body reset, let the body realign. Give the sound is one thing that creates a space within which alignment is possible and miracles happen, right? Nature is another very powerful. Connect to nature. You sit down, put your back up against the trunk of a tree, and send your energy down into the roots of the earth. There's so many ways that we can get grounded and learn and just relax for the weekend with some gentle humming. So it'll be kind of a grounding humming weekend retreat.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Looking forward to that. So I'm glad some people found us, and hello to everyone on the replay who's listening to this. Keep in touch, at least on the lakeclearlodge.com website for the events that are going to be happening here, and in touch with Kathleen at thesoundlady.com, right?
Yeah, there's a number of different classes that I teach. One is, what is your chakra scale? What is your personal chakra scale? And then there's another class, once you learn that goes 8 weeks. And each week we do a deep dive into each chakra. And you spend a whole week humming that chakra note and listening to the harmonics. I have MP3s for you to listen to, listening to the harmonics. And have these chimes. They're called choir chimes. And they have these fabulous sounds. And I've got really big ones and really small ones. I've got like 40 of these, but I created these MP3s of people's chakra scales so that your chakras are chimed on the MP3, and you can hum along or you can just listen. So I teach you how to do that. But there's also in the physics of sound, there's something called the harmonic series of notes, and it's how sound expands. So a note will expand in a specific way with a certain series of notes. And that series of notes, the way sound expands in physics, is the same way our energetic body, layers of our energetic body exist in our auric field. So once you hum the chakra note and the chimes play all the different harmonics, you can access the emotional layer, the mental layer, the astral layer, the spiritual layers of our field. And you can really get into the nooks and crannies of our systems where all that old stuck cellular memory is. And you can clear out lots of old stuff that way by just humming.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds too easy. I know it is easy. You just have to do it.
Yeah, it's like block therapy. So you can clear out different fascial blocks too, but you just have to do it. So Kathleen, the classes, can you start them anytime? Do you start them on different dates within the year, or how does that work?
Well, I like to do mostly one-on-one sessions or small groups. It work a small group of 3, 4, 5 people who ideally know each other. Because sometimes in a group of strangers, you're going to be bringing up all this unconscious, really personal stuff, and some people are too shy to share that with the group, unless you know the other people in the group. And that's a great situation because we can all learn from each other that way. But mostly I do one-on-one sessions where I spend time with you once a week on a Zoom call, and we work with the chakra and we talk about what has come up in the last week working with the last chakra. So that's an 8-week course. And there's also going to be, there's a course, a mantra course, kind of a write your own mantra. So if you understand how powerful mantras are for changing mental patterns and these tapes that just keep playing over and over and over in our mind, sort of subconsciously, just beneath our consciousness, that are really creating our reality, and we don't know it. So let's take this system of mantra, where repeating something over and over and over again changes a belief, gives you an alternate belief. So if you are, let's say you need this, like, you don't feel that you deserve. I mean, we obviously sort of archetypal, things that we have to work through in our lifetimes. And I deserve is one. Sometimes it's just, I just deserve to be here on the planet. I deserve to have a voice. All right. So we write a little mantra song, not, using 3 or 4 notes, or even an old children's song, melody that's familiar to you. And we put your words into it, and we sing it in the key of the chakra that's out of balance. And it just takes the idea of mantra, and ratchets it up another to make it really personal for you, instead of chanting a phrase in another language that, yes, has thousands of years of energy, accumulated in those words, and you can absolutely gain from that. But I like to personalize it to you, to your chakra, to your notes. And then I'll create a little MP3 file for you that has your chakra mantra songs on it. And I have this MP3 file for myself, and I listen to it while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm cooking, and I do silly dances around the kitchen. But what I basically hear is love songs to myself. That I took the time to listen to what I needed, and I created something that would help change it, and it in a fun little mode. And I just think, oh, I'm singing to myself, and so I sing harmony along with the MP3s. I sing with my voice. But mantra is a very powerful way to change pattern beliefs, addictions, and whatnot. So that's another course that I teach. The last one I want to talk about quickly, but I just bought the domain name Sonic Selfies.
Oh, I love that. When you started saying Sonic Selfies when we were talking, I thought, oh my gosh, that is the best. I love that.
So I got sonicselfies.com. It's not made yet. I'm going to hopefully make it this week. So a sonic selfie, and a selfie is a picture of your countenance, right? A picture of the outside of you. A sonic selfie is the recording with a microphone of your voice that gives you an energetic picture of the inside of you. And then I teach you how to use your voice or how to use a pitch pipe to give energy to the notes that are weak in that voice print, to take energy away from the notes that are overly strong and rebalance your body. And you can, well, I know we didn't tell him, Cathy, about the portal. Soundhealthportal.com is a place where you can go, and the application is called Nano Voice.
Yep.
And if you click on the Nano Voice link at soundhealthportal.com, you can actually, if you have a microphone on your computer, or if you go on your phone, if you can get online, with your phone, as you talk into your phone on Sound Health Portal, you can get a picture of the notes that you used on a bar graph, the notes that you used when you spoke. Our voices are using different notes. And when we record you speaking, we can see how many times you used the note C, how many times you used the note D. Oh, you didn't use the note E at all. Maybe something wrong with the lungs, mucous membranes, or ability to express yourself with words. Every note of the scale has its own physical and emotional correlations, sort of universally.
Mm-hmm.
So we can look at that universally, what the note E might mean if it's weak in your voice print. And then we can also look at personally, is that note E, does it maybe correspond to your throat chakra? Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Now you can start humming the note E. You can do before and after voice prints to prove that humming the E gave more energy to the note E.
Right.
So sonic selfies is going to be a lot of fun. I'll help people do sonic selfies to find what's out of balance, teach them how to balance it, and then you can buy the software for yourself and you can do it with yourself, or you can go online to soundhealthportal.com and you can see the whole, bioacoustic community, but you can also get a note bar graph showing you the notes that you spoke and which ones were weak and which ones were strong.
Mm-hmm. And then, Kathleen, the one not more complicated, but when you see that and you see the notes that you're missing, there's actually lists of songs, classical songs you can get that are made in the key of certain notes, right? So you can listen to music like that have the notes that you're missing. Am I right on that?
Yes. One of the things that we got this was back in the 1990s when I was doing bioacoustics. Sherry Edwards had a whole list of classical music in different keys. So, some Mozart symphony in the key of C, or something in the key of, Tchaikovsky in the key of E flat. So you can listen to music and that will increase the frequency in your body. You can also hum it. You can blow it on a pitch pipe. You can play any musical instrument in your house and just play those notes over and over again, hum along. Eventually that note starts to then be created in your voice. And that part of your voice that was weak now starts to become a little bit stronger. And now you can express yourself with that note. And people who have a wide spectrum voice range that includes all the notes of the scale and different octaves. So if you just spoke in this octave all the time and you never changed your pitch and everything was always right here, people might like it for a while and then they would fall asleep. But if you use your voice in all different octaves, people like to listen to you. You're very interesting. And you're instantly validated. It's like you're trusted. There's something intrinsic that we know when we hear someone who has a balanced voice. We know they're a balanced person and they're worth trusting. Just the sound of your voice can put people at ease when you have the right inflection and you have all the notes, at your behest to speak.
And Lynn is asking, because I know she deals with a family member who has a lot of blood sugar difficulties. Are there any tones specifically for blood sugar regulation that you know about?
Sure. Absolutely. If we're doing your chakras, then we're going to be looking at your solar plexus chakra, which is connected to your pancreas, which regulates your blood sugar. You can energize your pancreas if you know the right note in your body.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting. And the other, there's all that. And then there's also that, I think you gave the example, and Bioacoustics, does this. You can literally get charts, and I don't even think I have any next to me. I probably do, but I'm not going to look for them. Like zinc is in your thumb. So frequencies of different nutrients, we'll just say nutrients, house themselves in different areas in the body. And
people have similar frequency.
Yeah. And people have been mapping that. So it's really interesting to see where different things are.
Yeah. Well, Sherry learned early on cadmium, which is a byproduct of heavy smoking. So if you are a heavy smoker, after a while, you might find that your big toe is sore. Well, why is your big toe sore? Because the frequency of the muscle of the big toe is similar to the frequency of cadmium. And when the brain says, okay, I've got this cadmium in me, I don't know what to do with it, this frequency, well, it sounds like this, so let's put it over here. It sounds the same as the big toe, so it must go along with the big toe. So the body has those ways of kind of, when it doesn't know what to do with toxins and things that don't belong in it, it tries to find a spot in the body that has a similar frequency.
Yeah.
And it kind of leaves it there, and you've got to go ferret it out afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's so fascinating, and that, like I said, I am looking, with everything going on, I still am looking forward to what we know about being more healthy, looking at things like this beyond, the major medical model, looking at sound, looking at our body as a whole frequency system that's absolutely crazy redundant. Thank goodness, because one thing will take over from the next and, shift and change. Or just an amazing body that, and it's nice to be able to kind of look at it and start to understand what's going on for real.
And to know that you have some control over it.
Right, exactly.
Intrinsically, we are made so that the sound of our voice can heal our body. We were just never taught that that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect note there to end on. Haha. Well, if you have, I'm happy to keep chatting. Certainly thank you for coming on. I think we hit on a lot of really cool points. Looking forward to a lot more. I hope people can come to the Lake Claire Lodge and, like I said, come here, even if it's to nurture in nature, come when Kathleen is here, do some of my work here, connect with us online and, and do more with sound healing and sound is going to be much more in the picture in the future, because it's getting to be a little bit more out there. And even the simple fact of humming to give us our own biofeedback, I think is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy. It's been fun. Thanks to everyone who's watched, and let's hope that lots of people do come to the lodge. You're going to have great programs there, and it's going to become known as like a healing center.
That's been my 35 years ago. I came back here to try and do this, and I think now kind of the timing is right. We do have the bioacoustics here as well. Some things that you can listen to in person. Some things here that you can do in person that you can't do online, in particular, and kind of have the whole connection of nature and being nurtured, real food.
Not to mention your fabulous food. She is a fabulous chef.
Yeah, it's all about real food, real nature, the real sounds, the real frequencies, right? Which is
right. And you have your you walk around in a circle.
The labyrinth, yeah.
Labyrinth.
We have the labyrinth that I created last year. I am thrilled with that. It's so much fun. It's the Avalon energies, which I'm told are the New Earth energies. So it's really cool to have that in my it's my garden, my labyrinth garden. So we can walk the labyrinth as well. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so thanks for everybody. I think we will give the contact information both in the Facebook and the YouTube chat. And yeah, connect with us because it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Spread the word. Happy World Sound Healing Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
we're just kind of taking Valentine's Day as a way to love yourself
Mm-hmm.
and discover the power of the healing in your own voice.
Yeah, I love that you said that. It's kind of doing a love song to yourself. Just hum and
Really?
yeah, give yourself a Valentine's present. So yeah. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining in, and we hope to see you online or on site. And thanks a lot, Kathleen. That's been great.
Bye. Thanks, Kat.
Okay, bye.